Liover Peguero is 22 years old. He hit his 6th home run of his rookie season last night in Kansas City in 103 at-bats. And even that's not what's exciting about his power. Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday if you're into football and or hockey. I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Pirates 6, Royals 3. I don't want to hear complaints about it. I don't care that Kansas City's going to be at 100 losses within about a week. I don't want to hear that the Pirates only had 2 hits through 7 innings or any of that stuff. When you finish the way they did last night with 6 runs over the last 2 innings, you earned your W. When you get the kind of pitching that they did, again, just dispensing with how awful the Royals are, and you get Luis Ortiz finally starting to look like that version of him that had us all so excited a year ago, those are good things. There aren't negatives to be had in that. The only negatives are when you play lousy teams and come out with a lousy result. This isn't that. The key moment, no pun intended, was Ke'Bryan Hayes' 2-run homer in the 8th inning. I thought that was the biggest hit of the game, and that coming on top of Key just hitting the ball so well lately is uplifting unto itself. But, my friends, when Peguero's bat makes contact with the ball, and he has one of those swings where he pulls it and he gets it, oh my goodness, does it jump. I could bore you to tears here with 404-foot distance to left, 103.9 mile per hour exit velocity and everything else. That's not what I'm getting at here. Please, if this is even possible anymore, toss out the stats for a second. Toss out the numbers. And think about the jump off the ball. Think about the way the ball just goes. The other day, over the weekend actually, at PNC Park, I was having a pretty good talk with him, and I asked him about that specifically, very, very specifically. And he knew what I was talking about. He just wasn't going to have a whole heck of a lot to offer to it. He just said, I've always had that. I've always had that. If I swing the right way and I really let it go, the ball flies. And there's a difference. There's a difference between the way it goes, for example, off Peguero's bat and the way that it went off Jack Sawinski's bat, even when he was sizzling hot and had his 19 home runs in the first half of the season. Almost had another one last night, by the way. The thing hit the top of the railing over at left and then bounced straight up. This is Jack's luck, right? He ended up getting a triple out of it, but he could have used another bomb there for sure. But Peguero's ball does something different. And I remember there was a point in spring training when Derek Shelton brought this up in relation to Peguero. He's very young. We understand he's got this. He's got that special explosion off the bat. And I remember thinking to myself, he's got a who? What? Seriously? Dude's a shortstop? Which is pretty much what he was at the time. And, of course, through the minors, he's moved back and forth between short and second. He's kind of done that now since being promoted to Pittsburgh. Alika Williams getting some time at short. But here's what I'm thinking, okay? And forgive me if any of this goes too far, but things have been pretty dour for this team for a while now. So, let's go the other direction for a day. Let's say that the Pirates go ahead and make a change at hitting coach going into next season. I can't imagine how they could justify not doing it, but let's just say that they do, okay? And you feel really, really good about the level of instruction that these guys are getting, not just in the majors, but also on the way up and everything else, okay? And you have yourself in Peguero someone who you know that if he swings the bat a certain type of way and if he makes it happen, that it really, really goes. And he becomes more proficient at hitting the ball in a lot of different directions, kind of like what you're seeing from Hayes right now. Kind of like what you've seen for a long time from Bryan Reynolds. Kind of like what you've seen for a very long time from Andrew McCutchen. That explosion, that pop off the bat, still applies. It does. Doesn't mean he's going to hit everything out 400 plus feet. But the swing, the arms, the wrists, the power, the pure power that's in there, it's in there. I'm going to say this again. 6 home runs in roughly 100 bats. Yeah. Did you just do that too? Yeah, you multiplied it by 5, right? You will take every day of the week and Sunday an infielder with 30 home run potential. And you will especially take that if that infield already has O'Neal Cruz and if it has Hayes hitting the way he's hit of late. And if you can find yourself, again, a first baseman. Fun, right? Fun. It's okay to have some fun once in a while. I don't care if it's the Royals. When we come back, J1Q. This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern. That's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park.
Your front door, your car, your bike, your computer, your gun. Safety is a habit. Every day you lock and secure your home and everything you want to keep safe. Gun safety and responsible storage are no different and the best way to help prevent accidents, misuse, and theft. If you have a firearm, own it, respect it, and secure it. Visit ProjectChildSafe.org. Brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Today's J1Q comes courtesy of Jay, who went all wise guy in the comments section on DK Pittsburgh Sports and said, hey, everybody, over under that DK's next daily shot will talk about how this healthy key is, in fact, the key. All the key puns. But he kind of is. He's definitely one of the big ones. A week ago at PNC Park, I wrote a column about how one of the very few things that's gone right for the Pirates in this second half has been that their 5 best players have been, in fact, their 5 best players. I wasn't referring to their kids. In fact, if anything, the kids have kind of been below what you would have hoped for at this point. It's early. I'm not. But the 5 best guys, and I cited them as being Bryan Reynolds, Brian Hayes, Mitch Keller, David Bednar, and still Andrew McCutchen. And they've all had very nice, depending on how you break it down. You know, Mitch had the little bump in the road there and everything. He seems to be back on track now in a big way, actually. And the rest of them have had good overall second halves. 5 best players? Sure. Why not? We can debate it. But Reynolds and Hayes fall into a very different bracket. And that is best players who've already gotten paid, who've already had significant future payroll committed to them, and who are really, when you get right down to it, Pirates for life. This franchise, no matter how much or how little you think Bob Nutting should be spending or could be spending, is not ever, until there's a salary cap, going to be in a position where they can shrug off a multi-million-dollar bust. So to see Reynolds hitting the way he has, just being Reynolds, he hasn't gone on some supersonic tear or whatever, to see Hayes actually go on a supersonic tear and continue to be on it, man, I mean, you know what that is more than anything? I think for the Pittsburgh Pirates, short-term and long-term, it's just a sigh of relief. It tells you specifically about Key, because Reynolds has more of a body of work, that this is what's in there with Key. This is what needed to be unlocked. Jason Mackey of the Post-Gazette had a report yesterday that Hayes has spent extensive time with John Nunnally, the hitting coach in Altoona, and Nunnally's actually been going back and forth across Route 22 to help him in person. Now, while that's not all that unusual, as I'm sure once this subject is broached with either Derek Shelton or Ben Cherington, they're going to respond, well, we like to use all of our assets. We want to make sure that we're getting assistance from everybody. All hands in the pile, to use a Mike Tomlinism, to stray here a little bit to Steelers. The fact of the matter is, that's not okay. You know, it's not okay that your major league hitters, your guys that are getting paid the most, are seeking outside help. And they are. And your major league pitchers are seeking outside help. What's encouraging here, swinging this one last time today to the positive, is that you see the talent at hand. You see some of the potential with the younger players. A little inconsistently, but that's part of youth. With Henry Davis, Andy Rodriguez, now Liover Peguero. You just need to find some people who can maximize this. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everyone listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We're going to do another one of these tomorrow.